Yo, what's up? I got angel face glowing. Damn. Now I see why you put one of these little booger wipers on front of it.
That's the filter. On the professional filter on the camera.
This looks terrible.
I think you look good.
No, the white light.
Oh.
We look all washed out and...
We'll get it right. I like your gnome.
Yeah, do you like the gnomes?
Gnome Hyperborea.
Gnome Hyperborea. Gnome Hyperborea. It's hard to say. By the way, we're going to throw you guys for a loop because I got something to show you. Before we get into it, I need to show you this.
I'm gonna put you on something crazy real quick. Most of these Zoomer gym bros are consuming macro-guzzling synthetic dyes and synthetic sweeteners on the daily. They don't even know it. Goofy AF. There's nothing great about that. Do not listen any further unless you are an alpha or sigma male. This is important and there could be consequences. There's a new certified sigma male pre-workout powder for sigmas only. It is guaranteed to empower you to dominate your co-workers, fire your boss, aggressively gamble, or invade a small village. Chad Mode stands out from the crowd by excluding artificial flavors, preservatives, sweeteners, and dyes. We've even avoided so-called natural flavors, which are actually not natural at all, ensuring a clean and effective formula. Experience the pure goodness of Chad Mode, colored with organic blue spirulina extract, organic lemon, cherry, and organic maple crystals. Forget synthetic caffeine made in a sketchy Chinese lab. Embrace the natural power of organic green coffee bean extract, which will get your mind going and pump you up to the max. Chad Mode is made in America with all clean ingredients, the first clean pre-workout of its kind. Why are these people adding synthetic sweeteners to every single pre-workout when there are many studied downsides to consuming nasty fake sucralose? Each dose of Chad Mode contains the kick of a cup and a half of coffee, delivering a surge of energy alongside essential vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and herbal extracts. Chad Mode will allow you to fire your boss and dominate anyone who opposes you. Chad Mode will make you more dominant in your daily life, so proceed with caution. It's as simple as mixing 1 or 2 scoops of our fine powder into water or juice, providing you with a delicious, energizing beverage featuring a burst of sweet organic fruit flavor. Chad Mode will give you the extra edge you desperately crave. Don't miss out. Secure your supply of Chad Mode on TikTok Shop with a limited time massive discount. Elevate your workouts and supercharge your days. Chad Mode. Not for your average gym bro zoomer who consumes synthetic blue dyes on the daily. Buy on the TikTok Shop now with a massive discount provided by TikTok for a very limited time. Buy now while this is still available, or go to chalk.com and use code in caption. Chad Mode has been flying off the shelves because it's
For everything.
Shout out to our ad by Vivek. That was my boy Vivek. They took the stones from here. They took the stones and put them right here. That's what I'm talking about. So I have to mute it when the ad's playing, and then when I come back to this, y'all like my cool guy 90s here? Mm-hmm. They took the stones from here. They didn't hear any of that. We were talking about Vivek did our ads, and I said they took the stones and put them right here.
Oh.
Temple of Doom, baby. So redo all of what we just did.
It's not funny now.
It is funny now.
I said they took those stones, and then I said these stones. Like these nuts.
Instead of these nuts. These stones.
Yeah.
Anyway, use promo code J50. I thought we would flip the script. Smack it up, flip it, rub it down, and do things in reverse. So tonight, we've chosen the weirdest kid movies that we could find. Yes, I'm sure somebody was saying, there's other weird movies. Kid movies, bro. Somebody's talking about some weird old adult movie. I don't want weird adult movies. Kid movies.
Weird kids.
Weird kids.
Definitely.
So we have quite a few. And we're going to try to work through them and have fun as we do. Commenting, as you guys know. I don't know why this is so washed out. Good grief. I look like... I was in the sun today I was trying to sun my stones.
Yeah. They took the stones.
They
In the Chad... Oh, the choke was they took the stones and then made Chad mode.
Yes.
That's how it started. That's what you missed.
They took their stones and put them here.
Yes.
So, shout out to Vivek for reading the chalk ad. Anyway, so what are the craziest, creepiest kid movies? We have curated them for you. We are movie detectives and movie experts. We're expert movie detectives, basically.
Like young Sherlock Holmes.
Well, you gave one of them away.
Yeah.
That was one of the secrets.
So we can actually let's save that for last because it has a really good, crazy.
It has an esoteric, occult plot.
Yeah.
So tonight we're going to start with what? Race to Witch Mountain?
Yeah.
We chose the new version.
And you made a really good point. You were like, why do all these kids movies feature all the kids having an adventure with an old man? Like a old coot.
It's a little sus.
Crispy old greasy
Kids
man.
movies always have some weird, magical, greasy old man who whisks the children away to some sus adventure.
Yeah, because when we did Escape to Witch Mountain, the 70s version on my channel with Paul.
Yeah. Escape to Witch Mountain.
Escape to Witch Mountain.
Witch Mountain.
No.
You fell for that
We're
old
not the
guy?
Three Stooges or
You
whatever
fell for that old guy. Is it?
Who's on first?
Yeah.
That's like
Witch
past
Mountain.
boomer humor. That's like great grandpa humor.
Yeah, there's dad jokes, uncle jokes, and then there's like granddad jokes.
Yeah.
Right. That's a granddad joke.
Half the movie is these two kids. What are you doing?
Cool hair. Cool guy hair. Anyway, Race to Witch Mountain with
Escape to Witch Mountain.
The Rock, who's known for this.
But the original of which this is based on is they're like in an RV half the time with this old man like running away from the authorities, and I'm like, in real life, this would be like not a good story.
This is basically that's Jepstein.
Yeah.
That's what this is really about, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, in the original, the Disney original, it's also as creepy, or actually it's creepier because you've got this weird old rich dude who thinks that there's something odd about these children. He whisks them away to his palatial estate in California somewhere. And instead of an old rich dude, it's The Rock in this who's tasked with protecting the kids or, trying to save them.
So it's got Area 51,
Right.
alien bodies, reclaimed aliens, Reese's Pieces bodies.
Reese's Witherspoons?
No, like when you cut into the alien, it spills out Reese's Pieces.
That's the
candy.
whitest kid you know skit.
Yeah. That's what they're made of.
Right.
Because E.T. would pick them up.
Yeah. I remember that.
So. This is so goofy. Like, Project Moondust.
Yeah, tell us what Project Moondust is if you've not seen the Rock version of Race to Witch Mountain. So we have this weird occult.
2009.
Right, so it's an occult situation where these kids have powers. They're mutant kids, X-Men type kids. Turns out they're aliens, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And the Rock is protecting them from
he's their cab driver.
From an alien bounty hunter.
And so...
But what was Project Moondust?
Something about asteroid hitting the Earth in the desert near Las Vegas, and these alien bodies or whatever.
Okay, so that was the cover for the kids, or the kids are the real aliens.
Yeah, and like there's always the hazmat crew, and then they end up at that UFO con, the Contact in the Desert.
You've been to Contact in the Desert.
I have.
You threw up at one Contact.
I did. They called the ambulance for me.
I think they called the cops.
One
This
paramedic.
chick's over here throwing
They're
up.
like, is
Call
there a
the police."
paramedic? And they
Call the police. He's throwing up.
they gave me oranges and okay. So I was supposed to meet George Norrie and sit at the head table at Contact in the Desert. Somebody had a special ticket that they gave to me.
Okay.
And I got there early, and I was chewing nicotine gum because I was like trying to stop smoking.
Yeah.
And it was 100 and something degrees, like in the early morning. And I got to where we were supposed to have this like private luncheon, and
you had nicotine gum for breakfast.
Yes.
Okay.
And I puked everywhere.
And you were on a golf cart with Clyde Lewis, right?
That was later on.
Okay.
But yeah, they had to get a paramedic and feed me oranges and water, and then I like.
Did you puke on George Norrie?
No.
That would have been interesting.
But that was it.
He would have had some contact in the desert.
Yeah.
Right.
Meeting George Norrie. So.
Anyway, so Project Moondust is a cover story for the Deep State, the Men in Black, knowing about the existence of alien life. It's two teenagers, two tweens, or 15, 14-ish, right?
Yeah, they're younger.
Brother and sister aliens. Mm-hmm. And the government wants to get them and tap into their powers. And it's always the same story with this formula, basically.
Well, the government always wants the alien for their cruel research, right?
Yeah, they want to tap into the powers and use the powers.
Their powers are she can control things with the Force, so she's got telekinesis. The other kid can stop cars and do all kinds of
Yeah, they have
things.
It's basically the superheroes, X-Men mutant
They
story.
could take the ATM, the cash out of the ATM. Remember?
So they can make it rain.
Dude,
Make it rain.
I have to confess, I don't remember this, but it sounds funny, so I'm going to read it and you can see if you can remember.
Go for it. It's not a memorable movie.
There's a pod nursery in a shack in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, remember that.
Goo buddies and cabbage babies and loogies on the ceiling.
This is the alien hive. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember this.
The aliens of the...
There's an underground base at a place out in the middle of nowhere in the desert, right? There's a shack that has an underground base in it, a deep underground military base.
And there's always an alien bounty hunter.
Not always, but in X-Files and in this, there is, yeah.
They quote Buddha, "You are what you think you are."
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Interesting element in a lot of alien movies is that the aliens are always sophisticated, right? They're always higher in morals because they have a higher IQ, which having a high IQ does not necessarily mean you have better morals, but the aliens are always moralizing, right? Like, oh, you petty earthlings, you still have nukes and war, and unless you form a world government, we're going to blow your planet up unless you form a world government and worship us, right? So it's like they're high and sophisticated, but they're going to destroy us, right?
Yeah. Do you remember the South Park alien episode?
They're anti-violence, but they're going to use violence to stop us.
Where they use money to trick the human race into seeing if they are advanced enough to go out into...
I have not. I've not watched a lot of South Parks.
That's a crazy one.
So, is there anything else memorable in Race to Witch Mountain? What makes it a weird... I think what makes it a weird kid movie is actually the original is weirder. It's one of the weirdest because you're watching the movie and you think it's about two kids that are gifted. They're in the gifted and talented program. And they have telekinesis type, ability. And then they get whisked off to this weird, creepy old man's mansion who wants to mind control them and use their powers, right? And then it turns into a giant UFO thing because they're aliens. So it's just a very bizarre... And there's sequels. There's a sequel with Christopher Lee in it, right? I think these were flops, but the remake with The Rock is not that memorable, but still a very bizarre kids movie.
Well, this did have Greys and Reptilians. Was this the one with Ray Liotta as the bad guy?
No.
Oh.
I don't know why.
Cattle mutilation. The aliens are going to the alien convention.
Yeah, the only clever part of this movie was they were playing on a lot of the tropes about conspiracy conventions. And if you've ever been to a conspiracy convention, it is the nerds that are portrayed in this movie.
Well, not only that, there's like Men in Black, there's feds and shills and secret space program. There's a Mars exhibit and it says, "Is Mars our next home?"
Mm-hmm.
And then they got the...
Well, Whitley Strieber makes a guest appearance. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Whitley Strieber pops up with a couple lines in this movie, which is odd because, Whitley Strieber, if you've listened to the PsyOps Cinema guys, our buddies, they theorized that he might have actually been used in some of these MKUltra alien experiments. And that's partly why he thinks that he was abducted or something.
Well, remember Communion?
The Communion story itself is ridiculous because you have... You have...
He's dancing with the samba with the aliens.
He's doing the samba, right? So Christopher Walken does the samba with the aliens because this is what Whitley Strieber claims happened when he got taken aboard the craft.
Ooh.
Ooh, ah. What are you laughing at? Huh?
Just the alien tards, or what do we call the people who believe in this?
In aliens?
Yeah.
Idiots? I don't know. Like, what do you call somebody that believes in aliens? Duped? Anyway, not a lot memorable in this movie. Is there anything else you want to talk about before
Well,
we
it's
move
because
on?
their planet is dying and their leaders want
That's
to
always
conquer
what it is.
Earth.
It's always because but it's a guilt trip because we use resources.
Yes, they have to reoxygenate their atmosphere. They're stopping an invasion of the Earth. There's government lies, alien truth, tinfoil camper. Witch Mountain is a California top secret facility. Mm-hmm. He says trust no one like Mulder. Mm-hmm. They talk about chaos theory, synchronicity, predetermined order. A lot of heavy stuff for a kids movie.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's not that good and it's not that weird. That's why we put it first as our choice for weird kid movies. But again, in my opinion, the original is actually weirder.
This is kind of like Last Mimsy. Do you remember doing analysis of that for your show?
Yeah, I met some of the production people that came to my event in Topanga.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, we did. It is a lot like Last Mimsy. That's a good parallel because I don't think that's aliens, but it's like developing kid power, dude.
No, the aliens are us from the future.
Oh. Okay.
Is Last Mimsy.
I was gonna pull up Christopher Walken doing the tata, the cha-cha. I don't even know these
like
boomer dances. Like
with aliens.
The tata. What's the boomer dances? I don't even know what they're called. The samba,
tango,
the cha-cha, the
cha-cha.
Okay, let's see. Walken. It's funny to me that most people are not aware of this because to me it's one of the stupidest, funniest, goofiest scenes in movie history. Is him dancing with the aliens here, right?
Look how skinny and weird that thing is.
And I'll put it in the chat for you guys because if I play it, it'll like ding the copyright, you know. So, but here he is. Ooh, oh, dance with you. Ooh, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, enjoy that. What's up next?
Go
they like your braids.
Dance with. Oh, thank you.
What's your favorite boomer dance? The tata, the samba,
tango. I don't know.
The tango. What, was this a thing? I think some movies in the 80s made this famous and made this popular, right?
What?
80s movies made this idea of Latin dance being a thing that you want to do. That's it's hot, right?
Oh.
Like, I mean, when Patrick Swayze was doing, what did he do in Dirty? Is Dirty Dancing? Is it one of these?
It's like ballroom dancing, yeah. Like
okay, but is he doing
fusion.
These Latin American things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You're going to do Wrinkle in Time?
Yeah, now our next one is a much weirder movie. And I actually prefer the older 2099 version. And you got basically a Anunnaki Oprah. She's about 50 feet tall, right? Oprah Naki, right?
Yeah.
She's like 50. Like, why would they make her? I mean, Reese Witherspoon is one of the witches. Mrs. Witch, Mrs. What's It, Mrs. Who's It, right? If you've read Wrinkle in Time.
That's just like the joke you were making.
It is.
Like, what's on first?
Yep.
Yeah.
Who's it's on first? Which is it's on? Yeah.
So this is like we figured out, like that Matthew McConaughey movie.
Where's Giant
Interstellar.
Oprah though? That's the best part.
We have to see Giant. Oh, whoa, dude!
Yeah.
There she is.
Anyway, I'm not gonna play the clip because it'll ding the copyright. But
Oprah Naki, is that what you said?
Oprah Naki. Yeah, when Oprah shows up, she's like literally like 50 feet tall, and it's like, and I guarantee you, it was like symbolic for Oprah's ego because she was like, Reese, you going to be 6 feet tall. Whoever the other woman is, you're going to be 6 feet tall.
Mindy Kaling.
Yes. I am the queen goddess. I'm 80 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you got an 80-foot Oprah, you know you're in the realm of the weird, right?
Well, this is like Interstellar. It's got Science Dad.
Well, actually, I think Interstellar probably kind of took a little from this because the way I knew about what a tesseract was because I read Wrinkle in Time in 5th or 6th grade, and it's a kind of a classic kid's story novel. You go to other worlds, other dimensions. It's an interesting fantasy novel. I've always enjoyed it. So yeah, I read it in 5th or 6th grade, Tesseract, and then I remember watching Interstellar, and right, you've got Matthew McConaughey on the other side of the other dimensions talking through the bookshelves about love, right?
Yeah.
And he's inside a Tesseract.
Well,
Y'all know what a Tesseract is? All right.
You gotta rescue your father, like Jordan Peterson archetype.
Yes, they go to get. I always get this guy and James Marsden mixed up. It's like the same dude in my head. So there's James Marsden and there's this dude. What's his name? He's a Star Trek guy. Chris Pine. That's it. Chris Pine from Star Trek. He's Kirk. Yeah, so she's lost her dad. They have to go on this journey to find their dad. Now, the weird part about this movie or the story is that Madeleine L'Engle is some kind of weird. She claims to still be Christian, but she's like a universalist, Episcopalian, New Agey Christian. So it's a very bizarre worldview that she has. But it's actually a good story. I stand by this story. It is good. It's a trilogy, actually. People are saying it's creepy. Now, the novel's not creepy. It's interesting. Anyway, do we have anything else about when Oprah shows up? She looks like RuPaul, right?
Well,
So
this is the Disney 2018 version.
Yeah.
Wrinkle in Time, and
Oprah.
Dad has disappeared in the other dimension.
Right. Oprah being like, "You better work, work,
Yeah.
turn to the left,
Yes.
work,
And like,
turn to the right."
The mean girl bullies. Who is even that mean? Like, have you ever been bullied so hard as in this? Do you remember?
What did they do to the girl?
I don't know. It's just over the top.
Well, they took this idea from 80s movies about nerds getting bullied. And now the whole society is obsessed with bullying and stopping bullying.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I understand that sometimes kids can be really cruel. But at the same time, like, there's something you got to go through. You have to go through these kinds of kid processes as an initiation into adulthood so that you learn to be tough, because the real world is not going to care about whether you get bullied or not. The real world is like, people will kill you, people will kidnap you and traffic you and this kind of stuff, right? So you gotta like toughen up and get through getting your feewees hurt by being made fun of. That's what I'm trying to say.
And this has Reese Witherspoon, Mrs. What's-It.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mentioned that.
You called her Reese Witchy Spoon.
Dad joke. Dad tear.
I like the jokes throughout time, how you can switch from one era to the next.
The jokes throughout time.
And then the Mindy Kaling one, she speaks through other people's quotes.
What? A wrinkle in time. Wrinkle in time. That's talking about Oprah. How's she looking right now? How's that? That sounds like a. I don't know.
That's like a stand-up.
Yeah. Or like a sassy movie reviewer, right?
Yeah.
Wrinkle in Time. I thought I was talking about Oprah and her face, right?
Yeah.
More like Wrinkle Overtime, something, right? That sounds like a sassy stand-up comedian girl making that kind of a joke.
I like Oprah.
Oprah Naki. Yep.
Okay.
By the way, thank you guys. If you want to support the show, you can via Streamlabs as well as the Chalk ad. Did y'all like Vivek? Shout out to Vivek reading my Chalk ad there. Our bros over at Chalk. You can also support the show via the Streamlabs function. Streamlabs is how we do super chats over here. We did have a couple super chats from last time. Trace Britton sends $5 and says, "What's up?" But doesn't actually say that because there's nothing there. But I imported that. I put words in Trace Britton's mouth. That could actually be a guy or a girl, so I don't want to gender unfairly. Flav. Or Flav, perhaps. Flavor Flav. $1. What do you think of Vasiliev's History of the Byzantine Empire? P.S. I like your hair. P.S. Why does some dislike it? It's called envy. So a lot of people don't have hair. For example, if you've seen Tristan, you'll notice it's basically empty up here. It's essentially zero going on up here. Okay? So Tristan has what we call envy. And when people envy things, they get mad and then they try to undermine the locks, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So
enviable.
that's why.
I like your curls. I envy them.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're cute.
People still talking about Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey, right?
Yeah.
From Dirty Dancing to Red Dawn.
Yeah, I'm on Team Dad on that movie. I don't like that movie. It's stupid.
What movie?
Dirty Dancing.
No, Dirty Dancing sucks. That movie is garbage.
And
it's all a moral thing about getting an abortion.
And they try to make the dad out to be some kind of villain when all he wants is to keep his daughter away from the sleazy dance instructor who's like their friends are getting like homemade oboe.
And why would a woman like a dude prancing around in tights, in leotards and spandex tights? I mean, that's a sassy gay friend. That's not a lover, right? Right? Anyway, thank you guys for the super chats there. What's up next? Are we done with...
No, because this one's deep.
Are we done with a wrinkle in Oprah?
No, because... So, the kids are, like, learning about wormholes. They're learning about deep underground military bases, flying saucer, Foo Fighter, last Mimsy, powers, and, like, intergalactic...
Yeah, they're being initiated into... The weird part is that the movie begins with all this science stuff. You think that it's science because Chris Pine works as a quantum physicist, right? Which is basically a physicist who's a con man.
Yeah.
A new age physicist is a quantum physicist, right?
They talk about quantum entanglement.
And he's figured out how to teleport across the universe or some baloney, right?
Yes, zone theory.
He's mastered zone theory. He got his PhD in zone theory with his pot of diarrhea, if you've seen the skit. Right. So, yes.
But there's references in here to Alice in Wonderland and Flatland.
Right. The book is pulling from a lot of classic literature because Madeleine L'Engle wanted it to be in the vein of books like Alice in Wonderland.
And the Tesseract is the geometrical shape of the next dimension. Right.
So for those that don't know, if you need to change the past or, reconnect with somebody who's a young child that you never knew or whatever you're trying to do, you got to go into the Tesseract, which is behind the bookshelf, and then you can speak to them and tell them that you love them. Right?
Yes, but
that's Interstellar. The plot. So Matthew McConaughey's literally like right back here, right now. He's whispering.
He's peeking.
I love you, Jamie. I just want to say I love y'all from the future. It's the year 2050. I'm long dead, but I'm in the Tesseract.
He's met
he's
cool
whispering.
people and done.
I met some cool people and done some cool.
I want to meet.
I met a lot of new people and did a lot of cool things.
Y'all heard my song? The Matthew McConaughey
Just
song?
want to meet new people.
I think my Matthew McConaughey song was more popular on Instagram, of all things, than Twitter. than YouTube.
Yeah.
I think he got about $30,000 or $40,000 $30,000 or $40,000 views on one of us. He paid me $30,000 to make that. What are you laughing at?
That him peeking at you from.
You can see him. His little eyes peeking out behind that book. Why is that funny? Do you remember the movie?
Yeah.
Do you remember when he's in the Tesseract? I wonder if he saw 80-foot Oprah in the Tesseract. he wanted to come back.
Well, Carl Sagan's in there and MC Escher.
Y'all got a Tesseract? Be a lot cooler if you did.
I drive my Tesseract.
I drive my Lincoln into the Tesseract and come out the same side. Like I was playing Pac-Man. Y'all ever played Pac-Man? You come in one side and come out the other side. It's like a Tesseract.
Right. They're asking you why you have your, quote, teddy bear. It's not a teddy bear.
It's Littlefoot because before you all were talking about Land Before Time kids movies, like messed up kids movies, and that's the first movie I ever saw in the theater.
Oh. Can we move past? I'm sick of this.
Okay, Wrinkle in Time.
Yikes. What's next?
There's you could do a whole thing on this because it's, yeah.
Well, the book goes really deep. It gets into hypnotism and it gets
The Central
into
Intelligence, Puppet Devil.
There's actually a lot deeper stuff going on because, Madeleine L'Engle's book actually also touches on Cold War stuff. The fact that it's the central government that is they call it the Central Intelligence, she calls it, right? Mm-hmm. It has very clear Soviet style imagery. There's red symbolism that's often used for it. It's a big bureaucratic thing, which is weird because she's calling, so it's kind of bathed in red pill, right? So again, even though Madeleine L'Engle is kind of weird, like her novel is calling the CIA the new Soviet. So that's kind of interesting.
Camazotz, the darkness? It's like the nothing in...
No, I don't remember if that's the planet.
It's all darkness.
I can't remember if that's the darkness or if that's the planet where the Central Intelligence is.
Camazotz tries to trick you with staying there.
Yeah, that's the Central Intelligence planet is like a giant computer that traps you in like a matrix. Mm-hmm. So it's actually a really, like I said, it's a good novel. I mean, the story is good.
It's very deep too for kids. Gnosis versus love.
It has a good message. Like ultimately, the way that they defeat the central AI intelligence machine is through love, because the machine tempts you with giving you all of your dreams. So it might even be quasi-prophetic, like Madeleine L'Engle is warning about the Matrix. The Matrix will offer you that you can be in your own world, the god of your own world. And you're going to forsake your loved ones to live in this fake universe. That's the meaning of the story.
That little kid did a good job being an evil little kid when he was like... taken over by the evil entity, whatever it is. So, and what it offers is knowledge. It's basically like the internet, right? It's like maybe she's warning of the internet and the living in the Matrix, basically, versus actual human, love and contact and social experience. So, we watched a little bit of both of these, the 2004 one.
Right. So Disney had a better version of it from 2004. It's corny because it's like, goofy 2004 like Disney TV movie. But the one with Oprah is not that good. I actually think the older version is a better, more. It's a dystopian story basically.
Oprah-naki. Okay. It's
a dystopian sci-fi story in the multiverse basically.
All right.
It's not even really a multiverse. It's more like other worlds. I don't know how to describe it.
Secret of Nim. Remember that cartoon?
Yeah, a lot of people over the years have requested Secret of Nim, so we finally did it. And there's a few odd things in it. There's really just one main odd element to this movie. And it really just falls apart in the third act. I mean, I think this could have been a really good animated work for kids. It's a non-Disney. It's one of the rare 80s non-Disney animated features. It's MGM.
Don Bluth MGM.
Yeah, and it had potential. And I remember I grew up with Secret of NIMH. I've seen it a million times since I was a kid. It had a big impact on me as a kid. But when you watch it, it really just falls apart in the third act. I mean, it's not a terrible movie, but we're going to get into what the main bizarre element is that when you're a kid, you have no idea about. And then as you get older, you're like, oh, wait a minute, what?
Nicodemus the Rat Sage Wizard is creepy, for one.
He is creepy. It's odd because so tell basically what's going on with the rats, like why they. So basically, the rats have mutated.
They're escaped from the lab, and they have consciousness and.
Well, they were experimented on.
Yeah, they're experimented on, so they are at least as smart as humans, but they also have more powers because of the experiments.
Right, so they basically are X-Men, but rats.
Yes.
Right? So, like Shredder, basically, right?
Yeah. So, this one is like about this little mouse widow.
Excuse me, not Shredder, Splinter.
Splinter. Oh, yeah, Splinter.
Splinter's actually Nicodemus in an earlier life.
Yeah. So, the little mouse widow and the
Mrs.
whole
Brisby.
Timmy's sick, right? And they're gonna plow the field on moving day because that's when the farmer, like, does his farm thing.
Yeah, so everybody's gonna die.
So, evil, wicked humans created these mice, and now they're gonna, like, reap their home because...
Yeah, it's kind of like Watership Down. A lot of these stories from this time period, even Disney productions like Bambi, right? It presents the humans and the hunters as the bad people. And the animals are, the persecuted creatures that would be doing so well if we just got rid of humans. I mean, that's kind of like in the background of a lot of these 80s cartoons about animals. But what I think is going on is that the rats represent humans or people that have been experimented on.
Yeah.
And that they're it's kind of loosely MK Ultra, because it turns out when you figure out what NIMH stands for in Secret of NIMH, NIMH, that is the National Institutes of Mental Health in the story. And so the rats are being experimented on to figure out the things to experiment on humans with, you see. So the humans represent the rats represent humans that have been experimented on.
Right. They had to see the great owl, so that's kind of esoteric-y.
It does have you think it's science based, essentially, because most of the story is centered around the rats escaping and then mutating and getting higher IQs and basically, human level consciousness. But then you get this magical elements that come in, which is just kind of odd. Like, Nicodemus seems to have basically magical powers. We don't really know why, but the necklace that Mrs. Brisby has powers connected to your heart. So it's just really, it's like, it's basically X-Men or, something like that, but transferred to rats.
Mm-hmm. Well, they also have like a rat deep underground base. They have a rat senate. The mice can read. They have
RUMS, rat underground military base.
Their rat tech is like Project Looking Glass.
How's that?
It's like they look in that thing, remember, and you can see.
Well, remind me what Project Looking Glass is. I don't remember.
Where you can see into the future.
Okay, that's not real.
But... I know, but it's like that. Like,
okay, I see. Yeah, maybe the person who made the movie knew about MK Ultra and some of those, Project Gateway type things.
Yeah. The street rats were captured and put through tortures and given injections. And you said Mice K Ultra.
Mice K Ultra, exactly. And again, what's a big portion of the 60s, 70s, and 80s in terms of entertainment all about? Mickey Mouse and Disney.
Yeah.
And my theory is that my stoner theory, right?
It's the puppeteers.
If you were looking over Disneyland, man, you would see a bunch of little mice running around with mice headgear on, man. It's like a mice maze, man. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. The puppeteers. All right, so do we have anything else?
Well, okay,
in them?
so they were splicing DNAs, making them smarter and more conscious. Nicodemus now has telekinesis. They know too much to live as rats, so they have to migrate somewhere else. And
and they get away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Judas rat, and the stone MacGuffin thing gives you the power to levitate or some stuff. So the stone is mysterious. It's
Yeah, I guess we're supposed to think that.
Is it like the Philosopher's Stone?
Yeah,
of
it's like the
consciousness?
Philosopher's Stone, and they're gaining not just human level consciousness, but now like God powers. So basically, we're gonna have God rats ruling over us, right? Because they're gonna evolve to be the God beings.
Rat gods.
Yeah, rat gods.
Okay. That's the
rat
secret of
gods.
Nim.
Yeah, very weird kids movie. Now, people are saying, hey, what about Legend with David Bowie? Sarah. Well, I didn't include Legend because I've covered it multiple times in the past. So it's in my book. It's in 2 or 3 podcasts that we've done over the years. So maybe we'll revisit Legend. It does deserve to be in the Weird Kids Movie podcast. You're absolutely right. But there's a couple that we left off just because we covered it many times. Somebody brought up another kids movie that's weird that I've also covered. Oh, Return to Oz. So BLA and I just did Return to Oz last year. You can find that on the channel. So that's also why I skipped over Return to Oz. But yes, it does qualify as kids movie. So Labyrinth and Return to Oz have already been done. So we just skipped those over. We wanted to find, more obscure, weird, less known things. Now I know Wrinkle in Time is not less known, but here's one that you may not know that I grew up with that scared me when I was a kid. And I still enjoyed the movie. It was different looking back on it because I haven't seen it in many years. But Something Wicked This Way Comes, the 1983 film based on the Ray Bradbury story. Now, we've covered Ray Bradbury in the past because I did a video on Fahrenheit 451. But this is a young adult horror story that he wrote that not as many people are familiar with.
It creeped me out.
Yeah, Jamie had never seen this, right? So this was interesting. I grew up with it, so I've seen it a million times. But
Yeah.
it was interesting to see Jamie's reaction to this movie. But so tell us about what are some of the basics that you notice here. Jonathan Pryce plays a good devil.
This is
basically.
a Disney, so we've got James Horner, composer. October Fall Pumpkins in Greentown, Illinois. So it's like Main Street, USA. Very classic peak America.
Yeah,
Americana.
and this Middle America, Americana, Greentown, Illinois, and every 20 years for some reason, something like that, 30 years, the circus blows into town. But this is the unknown. This is not the circus. This is the Devil's Circus, and he comes into town with the Autumn People. And I read a bunch of literary critical stuff, people trying to figure out why he chose the Autumn People. It's not really clear why Bradbury thought that was, but most people think that it has to do with the time and the change of seasons, that what's usually associated with that time and the change of seasons is the coming of death.
Oh, because that's when
Autumn.
Halloween and Samhain and all those... The
Right.
veil is thinner.
The veil is thinner, and so you got this like troupe of devils, basically, with Jonathan Pryce here.
He's the seller of lightning rods.
Yeah, and my thought there was because, Jesus says that I beheld Satan fall like lightning. So we're supposed to associate Satan here with lightning. That's and what he does is basically he offers you, much like in Wrinkle in Time, the things that you want. But it's what's that trope of
The monkey's paw?
monkey's paw, right? When you get what you want, it's a trick, right? So this
Yeah.
old lady here, she wants to be young and beautiful, right? But then she's young and beautiful and blind. So it basically, right?
Yeah.
She didn't get anything out of it, right? So she turns into 80s blonde mom chick. But she's blind. And the fat barber dude is lustful, and what happens to him? Do you remember? He wants he keeps talking about the exotic women 1,000 miles away. It's like
he's a passport bro, and he's stuck in.
He's a passport bro.
He's stuck in the small town.
It's like, well,
he's a fat barber. So.
I was like, well, I got an easy solution. The fat barber should go with the old woman that's now the blonde babe, right? Because she can't see him.
Oh,
why is he worried about exotic women 1,000 miles away anyway?
Yeah, date within your own category. Okay. And so there's one dad that's absent and one is too old.
Yes, this is a solution, by the way, to incels that can't find babes and they want to
hot blind people.
Find a hot blind babe. Problem solved.
Yeah, but she can still smell, so they have to bathe more.
Get nose plugs for her. I don't know. Wash your butt. How's that?
There you go.
Don't smell like Funko Pop ass if you're going on a date. How's that?
Yes.
Well, they're not going on a date. They never go on dates, but there are
so
some
it's like what?
There's got to be like some babes that are blind out there, right?
I'm sure.
Okay. There you go.
All you blind babes. We solved all your problems.
No, I've solved the incel problem.
Oh.
It's not
Their
gonna,
problems are
it's
just
not going to be that
starting.
great for the blind babes, probably.
Well, the carnival represents the pleasures, the vices, and it's like
Yes.
Pleasure Island blowing through town.
Perfect analogy,
The
right?
devil and his freaks tempt you
Yes.
in the season of weakness.
Yeah, it's interesting that in a lot of literature and kind of tropes, the carnival,
Carnies.
they're associated with the devil coming into town and tempting you and giving you the offer of, it's basically the vices, right?
Yeah.
So whatever your vice is, the devil says, you like, exotic women. And I think he turns the fat barber into a person that dresses like a woman. So this is not PC anymore. Because do you remember when he's parading through the
Let's
city?
see if we get there.
When he's parading through the city, he's dressed like a woman.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, the bearded woman.
Exactly.
Okay. So
So the devil's like, you like ladies so much, I'll make you one.
the train even says Dark's Temple on it. Dark's Pandemonium Carnival.
Dark's Pandemonium. And that's like the pan devil, pan demon, pandemonium. Yep.
And the Hall of Mirrors shows you what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And so the barber was down bad. The shopkeeper's greedy. There's the peeping Jim and the belly dancers.
Mm-hmm. Somebody is also greed, right? There's a
Shopkeeper.
The shopkeeper's vice is greed. He wants money. Jason Robards, right? The protagonist, the main character, has a young son. He's too old. His temptation is what? To go back in time and be younger or something? Because he lost a kid, right?
There's two boys.
Right, and one of them was lost.
And he couldn't save his son, but the friend's dad, alcoholic, saved him. And so the older dad was embarrassed that he couldn't save his son from
so he wanted courage or something, right?
Yeah.
There's something he felt basically emasculated, and so the devil's offering to him what? I forget. Courage? I don't know, but
no, the carousel goes backwards to make him younger.
oh, that's right. He can go back in time and be young and like redo the mistakes.
Yeah.
Where he wasn't a coward. He can be, because he couldn't dive in to swim because he couldn't swim.
Oh.
Remember?
Okay.
So a kid drowned because he couldn't dive in or was going to drown. Somebody else dove in and tried to save the kid, right?
Yeah.
And so he looked like, I don't know, a wuss. Because, but if you can't swim, seems like misplaced guilt, right? If you can't swim, it's not your fault that you don't jump in, right?
Yeah,
you would both drown. So.
The devil often looks like a 19th century, like, rich Masonic
Yeah, it's
gentleman.
always like a Masonic top-hatted gentleman, dude. Exactly. That's an interesting...
What are those? They have a name for those top hats. It's like a...
Stovetop? No.
It's like a place. Like a neighborhood. I'll think of it in a second.
I know what you're talking about.
So his dad wanted to live forever because he couldn't save him.
Oh, I've never told you my devil story.
Tell me now.
I don't have. So, true story. I can't explain this. I don't have a whole lot of like paranormal stories, right? And I'm not saying it's the devil. But when I was 18, I took a senior trip to New York, and at the time I had put together a stand-up routine. So the purpose of going to New York on my senior trip was twofold. It was to see New York. I'd never been there. And I went with a girl whose mom had arranged the trip. And the girl was auditioning to go to Juilliard, the famous dance school. So there was one day that I was at, it's Saks Fifth Avenue. That's the big fancy, right? Mm-hmm. Department store. It's like 6 or 7 floors, right? I can't remember exactly. So, I was at this mall, and 2 weird things happened. The first weird thing was, I remember when I got to the first floor and I walked in, there was this big hubbub because Bill Clinton was in a limo and he passed right in front of the door, right when I walked in, right? I'm not connecting these 2 events, but then a really weird thing happened where I had a couple hours to kill by myself at Saks Fifth Avenue because the people who had arranged the trip were off with the girl who was auditioning. So I was stuck at Saks Fifth Avenue just killing some time by myself, walking around. Never been to this, fancy of a mall or whatever. And so I remember walking around and I looked back. I kid you not, this is a true story. I can't really explain it or say exactly what was going on, but there was a guy who looked exactly like Jonathan Pryce there. I would describe him as kind of a cross between Jonathan Pryce right there and Anton LaVey. Okay. Mm-hmm. Had a top hat, all that. Goatee, exact same suit. He had a cane. And he was just staring at me. And he stared and stared and stared. And I walked away because I thought it was a little weird. And he followed me. So I went to the elevator and I rode it to a different floor because it was kind of weirding me out. And when I got to the other floor, that guy was there. And he followed me through Saks Fifth Avenue. And it creeped me out. So I left. So I just went to another place. And I don't know how... I mean, maybe Saks Fifth Avenue has sort of well-dressed people who walk around to make sure people aren't stealing. I mean, I wasn't dressed like a thug or anything. I was just wearing normal clothes. So, maybe they thought I was there to, what do you call it when you steal clothes? To shoplift, right. But no, this was very bizarre, very weird, creeped me out. The guy was basically just following me through. And he looked like that and Anton LaVey.
That's crazy.
So I say it's my encounter with the devil. I don't know if it was literally the devil. Could have been just some weird dude that was dressed up in a costume. But it didn't look. When you see when you see people in a costume, it looks kind of fake.
Yeah.
I mean, this looked like a really well manicured, like expensive looking dude. He didn't have that guy's face, but he had the same goatee. He looked like Anton LaVey. I'm not saying it's Anton LaVey. I think Anton LaVey was... When did he die,
The 670s?
Yeah, so... But... Yeah, it was weird. He followed me throughout the store. I don't know how... And how would he have known, like, what floor I was going to? And, like,
Yeah.
Maybe he had a headphone thing, and they were like, all right, we got somebody who's possible, shoplifter. Can you follow this guy? It could have been that. Very possible.
Their radical approach to loss prevention, like creeping you
out. Have a devil
so
dude like chase you through so that you don't. But he did look. So look, if it was the devil, which I don't really think it was, but if it was, the devil does look like this. Like when he shows up, he looks like that guy.
Yeah. That's how you would.
Jamie,
picture him.
Are you yawning? You're over here yawning at my devil stories. That's like one of my crazy memories, and you're over here yawning. Like, here we go. She's never heard that story, by the way. Have you?
No.
You never heard that story?
No, that was crazy. Mm-hmm. He was trying to make a deal, but you ran away.
Or just creeped me out. I don't know. I mean, it was right when I was a senior in high school, and I was just starting to read the Bible. Mm. So, I had basically paid no attention to any religious views at all or whatever for most of high school, and just starting to read the Bible and had that weird encounter at Saks Fifth Avenue. But, I mean, look, if the devil did appear, he would probably look like the coiffed, right?
Yeah.
Suit man. And he would probably be hanging out in an elite shopping place like Saks Fifth Avenue, right?
Yeah. He's got work to do at the UN.
Good point.
So that's Something Wicked This Way Comes. The devil uses lightning to torture people.
No, I wasn't saying he had normal clothes. I'm saying that the clothes that he had did not look like a costume, right? So it wasn't like he left a play or he was part of an acting troupe. I'm saying that this was looked like really fancy outfit, but he didn't look like he was from, the 1990s. He looked like an 1800s dude.
He was using the Tesseract to gang stalk you.
And if they and if they were going to follow somebody around who they thought was shoplifting, it wouldn't be a dude dressed in this kind of I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, enough of my devil story.
Yeah, you mentioned the autumn people. They call them the hungry ones, and they eat pain.
Yes, they say that they eat pain, and that's what clues us into the fact that they're demons, right? So just like in Twin Peaks, right, Bob and the man from another place and all them, they feed on the pain, the Garmonbozia.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So they're a group of people who have totally succumbed to evil.
And they're transformed into demons, basically.
Yes, you enter his circus and you're a zombie.
Yeah.
And then the kid's love breaks the spell, and the dad gets out of it.
So much like Wrinkle in Time,
A lot of saving your dad's.
Love saves the day, and well, the dad. No. The dad has the courage to save the son. Mm-hmm. So he refines the courage that he didn't have when he was young and didn't want to get in the water.
Right.
Remember?
Yeah.
So he needed the courage. So anyway, it's a good story. I liked it.
Yeah. You were right. The barber did turn.
He turns into a person in the
DRAG.
bearded lady.
Yeah, he did.
We have a lot of bearded ladies nowadays.
So
the circus is becoming the society.
it's Clown World.
No, Carnival.
Yeah.
That's worse than Clown World. Carnival.
Oh, that's true.
We're going into straight demon Carnival.
Mardi Gras 2.0.
We're going, Carnival.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, what's next?
Techno Mardi
You said
Gras.
you want to do that one last.
Yeah.
By the way, where's everybody at? The support tonight. Super chats. We only got a couple super chats. If you want to support the stream as we decode the weirdest movies from your childhood. The weirdest that we could find. We got a couple you probably haven't heard of.
Somebody already
This is the weirdest
mentioned
one.
peanut butter solution.
Okay, but that's the weirdest one. So do you want to save that to last or not?
No, we're doing Young Sherlock last.
What's the next one after this?
Witches by Roald Dahl.
That one's mid weird.
So which one are we going to do?
Well, I think peanut butter solution is the weirdest.
Okay.
So let's do witches.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want to do it like increasingly weird.
Okay. Witches is pretty weird.
It is weird.
So this is a 2020 version. We talked about the other version.
Yes. So one of our first podcasts
Yeah.
is me and you back in the day talking about Hollywood occult witchcraft movies, voodoo. Mm-hmm. Those were our first three early podcasts.
And we did The Witch with Anya Taylor-Joy.
The Witch, which is
Yeah.
the old 80s version
Yeah.
with Angelica Houston. And I don't remember what other witch movies we did. I remember our voodoo show more. And I remember us talking about Society. Those are classics. If you've never seen the old
Those
Jay
are
and Jamie,
just audios.
old
too.
Jay and Jamie classics.
Yeah.
That was before we were even doing the live streams. I was like, what's a live stream? What? I wish we had done. We should go back and redo those, revisit them, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. So tell us about this is the Anne Hathaway update, right?
This is
Stop yawning.
2020.
People are going to think that
because-
you're not enjoying this.
No, it's like whenever I laugh really hard, then you get those like
Ow.
endorphins, and then you like relax and you start yawning. So that's the only reason, because you've been making me laugh a lot.
That makes you sleepy?
It just like releases.
No, I just think everything makes you sleepy. So you got to get you some iron or copper or something. Like you need to suck on some pennies and get some copper in your blood or something. So this is our old witch show. This is it for those that are interested in one of our first podcasts. When was this? What does that say?
2016.
Almost 8 years ago. So this is right.
Yeah.
So we're 1 month away from this being 8 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
So were we dating at this time?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's right. This is when we were first starting to date. So here we did The Witches, Devil Rides Out with Christopher Lee. Disney's Hocus Pocus. That's also a weird one. The original Hocus Pocus. And the new one is also weird because the witches are into like going after kids.
Yeah, and the whole town has gone pro-witch, and the witches are the good guys.
I forgot about that. But we were covering the original Hocus Pocus, which has... Remember, the daughter is the girl in Eyes Wide Shut. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Anyway, okay, so the witches.
2020, Anne Hathaway... So they start out with 3 rules. Number 1, witches are real. Number 2, they're here. They live among us. And number 3, witches hate children. So they squish children and they get pleasure out of it.
They squish children?
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, yeah, it seems like as we learn more and more about the global elite, that seems to match up to things. By the way, if you're interested... The show that I just did a couple nights ago about dirty espionage and how it works in the real world, that is the part 1 of my analysis of this, the part 2. So if you want to subscribe to my website or to my Rockfin, the part 2, going deep into this and other related information, my own research on the topic is available at the website for members and at my Rockfin.
So this has Chris Rock in it. Or the voice of Chris Rock.
The voice of Chris Rock. Is that a separate character from Chris Rock? Isn't he just known for his voice anyway? Who would win in a debate? Chris Rock versus voice of Chris Rock.
What about... Who's the other guy that talks really fast?
Chris Tucker.
Who would win? Chris Rock or Chris Tucker?
They would cancel each other out and the universe would explode.
Or do you remember the guy who talked really fast in the 90s commercials and he did like micro machines? Remember that?
Yeah, and there's also Tongue Twista, the rapper. So we're talking about, instead of the Micro Machines dude, it should be Tongue Twista. You don't remember Tongue Twista?
No.
I was a little surprised at how fast Ben Shapiro rapped. Like when he was rapping, it was like Tongue Twista level speed. I'm like, dude, slow down, bro.
They're number 1. Did you hear it? He's number 1.
Slow down, bro.
I don't care if I offend you. So cool.
By the way, guys, thank you for that super chat. We got a couple more movies, The Witches. But I want to remind you that we also have a show sponsor, a beautiful, wonderful Red Pill show sponsor, Chalk.com. They have the best in testosterone boosting supplements such as the Tomcat Elite, the Tomcat 100. Better than organic quality there with that Tomcat. 100% proven. You can read the peer review studies at Chalk.com to boost testosterone. Use the promo code J50. Head on over there right now. Use that promo code. You can also use the promo code J53LIFE. That's J53LIFE to set up recurring subscriptions for Chalk.com. So another reminder here in the midst of the show, our sponsor Chalk.com. It's also tons of other products, right? It's not just the Chad Mode, which is their new product for pre-workout. There's also all types of supplementation for guys, for girls, whatever fits your need.
I'm gonna put you on something crazy real quick. Most of these Zoomer gym bros are consuming macro-guzzling synthetic dyes and synthetic sweeteners on the daily. They don't even know it. Goofy AF. There's nothing great about that. Do not listen any further unless you are an alpha or sigma male. This is important and there could be consequences. There's a new certified sigma male pre-workout powder for sigmas only. It is guaranteed to empower you to dominate your co-workers, fire your boss, aggressively gamble, or invade a small village. Chad Mode stands out from the crowd by excluding artificial flavors, preservatives, sweeteners, and dyes. We've even avoided so-called natural flavors, which are actually not natural at all, ensuring a clean and effective formula. Experience the pure goodness of Chad Mode colored with organic blue spirulina extract, organic lemon, cherry, and organic maple crystals. Forget synthetic caffeine made in a sketchy Chinese lab. Embrace the natural power of organic green coffee bean extract, which will get your mind going and pump you up to the max. Chad Mode is made in America with all clean ingredients, the first clean pre-workout of its kind. Why are these people adding synthetic sweeteners to every single pre-workout when there are many studied downsides to consuming nasty fake sucralose? Each dose of Chad Mode contains the kick of a cup and a half of coffee, delivering a surge of energy alongside essential vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and herbal extracts. Chad Mode will allow you to fire your boss and dominate anyone who opposes you. Chad Mode will make you more dominant in your daily life, so proceed with caution. It's as simple as mixing 1 or 2 scoops of our fine powder into water or juice, providing you with a delicious, energizing beverage featuring a burst of sweet organic fruit flavor. Chad Mode will give you the extra edge you desperately crave. Don't miss out. Secure your supply of Chad Mode on TikTok Shop with a limited time massive discount. Elevate your workouts and supercharge your days. Chad Mode, not for your average gym bro zoomer who consumes synthetic blue dyes on the daily. Buy on the TikTok Shop now with a massive discount provided by TikTok for a very limited time.
Show off something that we're all proud of. I got a browser here. This is Jay Dyer's much vaunted, much sought after Philosophy 101. Now, he just got this page up. We are just testing it out. You guys are some of the first people in the world to see it. I want to say, for my part, it's not Philosophy 101. I think this is a mistitling. I really think of it as like Philosophy Unleashed, because a Philosophy 101 course, they give you kind of some useless information that you can't make sense of. Jay actually lays out over 12 weeks, dozens and dozens of hours put into just the presentation of this, let alone the hundreds and thousands of hours of research that it takes to have a coherent evolution and history of the origins of philosophy, the uses of philosophy, the different ways to look at it over time, and how that has been brought about to what we have today, which is almost an absence of philosophy on the objective logic and reason side, and an overabundance of woke philosophy that is irrational, is made up day by day as people are like, I think we should bring racism back, and then here's a justification, and then it gets wokeified and spread out, and then all of a sudden you have a bunch of communist, socialist ideas where you become the property in action. You need to be able to stand your own ground. It helps to have a foundation in philosophy because it's a method to find truth. When you get down to it, philosophy
I'm going to put you on something
because you love truth enough to go and.
All right, we're back. I look like powder.
Sweet cream. Sweet
This
cream.
is no, it's past that. It's not sweet cream. Sweet cream of rhythm and dancing.
Powder like that pale guy?
Yeah, the movie Powder.
It's only because it's winter and there's no sunlight.
Doesn't exist in the winter. American Squidward. Read that. We got a super chat.
American Squidward, $2. Really awesome stream. You both rock. How do you both feel about the existence of dinosaurs? Fake or real? Also, Jay, would you ever consider doing a nationwide or regional stand-up comedy tour? I bet you would do phenomenally.
Thank you, American Squidward. We are planning a March event, again, with Jamie Kennedy in Hollywood. So we're going to do another event. I might try to make it a little more stand-up-y. We'll see what we do. I'll probably do my speaking thing on, geopolitical stuff. Jamie's going to talk about occult stuff again. And I'll talk about, spy stuff, espionage, geopolitics, Quigley, that kind of stuff. But as you know, at our live events, what we usually do is mixed media, mixed things. We usually have a guest and we do a couple different things. So I do a comedy thing that usually kicks it off, and then Jamie does a talk, I do a talk, a serious talk, and then we have our guest. So looks like we're going to do another Jamie Kennedy event in Hollywood in March. So thank you for that support and idea there, American Squidward. We're on it.
And you can go to my channel if you want to watch that show about dinosaurs. It's called Dinosaurs Real or Sus.
Oh yeah, Jamie did a podcast
and
on
it actually
dinosaurs.
Features this guy right here. And maybe.
This is the refutation of dinosaurs. This right here.
Yeah.
Look, boom.
Realistic.
BTFO dinosaurs. You just got refuted.
Yeah. And we might do in the future maybe Jurassic Park and a book.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
A book called Bones of Contention.
Yeah, I don't have any hard opinion on it. I'm fine with it, with dinosaurs being real, and that's what's in Job, or they're fake and gray. Either way, I don't care. I don't know. I think that the whole domain, if you look at Tiktaalik, Tiktaalik is fake and gay. I freaking hate that dude.
Yeah. And all those evolution globs, like...
That's what Tiktaalik is. He's a
goo babies.
There's a lot of goo babies. He's a fish with freaking arms and legs.
What?
That's not real.
Oh, were the goo babies in Race to Witch Mountain gonna...
That's what you said.
...be the race of aliens?
I don't know what goo babies are. Jamie talks about the stuff, and I don't know what the goo babies are, but okay.
Okay, talk about witches. Witches are real. They're here. What? They squish children. There's the goo babies. Into goo babies.
Once again, we have the mice theme. The children are the mice.
The little boy lost his parents, and he won't eat until he got a pet mouse. So here's kids and mice again.
Yep, exactly. And again, Roald Dahl being one of the key British intelligence operatives, together in the circles of Ian Fleming and William Stevenson, who inform and help Bill Donovan set up the OSS, which becomes the CIA. So this is not a nobody. This is Roald Dahl, high-level British intelligence guy, part of the Irregulars, telling us what in this bizarre kid's tale.
Someone said pickle punk babies. Slow boy wayward.
We know all about pickle punks.
All babies start as goo babies.
I put pickle punks on my hamburgers. That's how hardcore I am. What'd you say?
Somebody said all babies start as goo babies.
That's correct. Science facts.
Do you prefer a goo baby or a Cabbage Patch baby?
They also begin as goo babies.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a zygote is a goo baby.
Now everyone's talking about goo babies.
I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds funny. And the
well,
idea of a goo baby does sound funny.
When they make it to the place in Rich Mountain, they find the pods. Remember? You don't remember this part?
I know. There's a baby in the pod?
No.
A pickle punk? A pickle pod.
No, goo buddies,
a
cabbage
pickle punk
babies,
in a pod.
Loogies on the ceiling.
Look, we're just two pickle punks in a pod.
There's a pod nursery in a shack in the middle of nowhere.
I remember that, but what does the baby look like?
Yes, we're pickle punks in a pod.
Here she goes. She laughs a minute later.
So I guess you just have to watch Race to Witch Mountain if you want to know.
Goo Goo Dolls or Goo Goo Babies? What's that Goo Goo Dolls song?
Sing the Goo Goo Dolls.
I was trying to remember it. How does it go?
I don't know.
Is that our Gen X crowd or is that our millennial crowd?
That's elder millennial.
How does the Goo Goo Dolls song go? I remember I Want Milk. No, that's Goo Goo Gaga. Goo Goo Dolls. What? I won't tell no one your name. I won't tell them your name. That's it?
Yeah.
What do you think?
That's pretty good.
I don't know.
What
I don't know
else
any
they
of these
got?
other songs.
I don't know any of these.
They got a lot of views. All I know of is that one song. I don't know the lyrics other than that part. So that's all I can sing. But that sounded like him.
Yeah. Goo Goo Babies.
The Goo Goo Babies. Exactly. Jay doesn't get it. It's okay. It's all over my head, bro. Okay, so the witches, they're turning kids into mice. And they want to basically get rid of kids. So the witches are genuine Depop advocates.
Right. But the grandma had a root working hoodoo closet, so it's like white and black magic.
So in the Disney version, exactly, the new version, the grandmother of the kid,
the lady that plays Ma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ma, that's right. She uses traditional African root working.
Yeah. And the witches prey on the poor.
Well, and it's also Anne Hathaway that's the Angelica Houston character, the head witch.
She is the head witch of the Secret Society of Witches, and their covens meet under the guise of the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children.
No, so here's what I think Roald Dahl's saying. Roald Dahl is saying that the real institutes that pretend to protect kids are run by witches that traffic them.
Exactly.
That's
so
what I think Roald Dahl is hinting at.
The CLINTON model of
this model.
Yeah.
Now I don't know that. No, actually, turns out Ghislaine, her first job was Disney's Day Out, working for a Save the Kids fund.
I have a picture of that. So.
Anyway, I go into that in my part 2. You can go watch the part 2 where we cover Whitney Webb's part 2.
It's the International Society for...
Yeah, so in the movie, in the movie and in the story, it's the International Society for the Protection of Children.
Mm-hmm.
Which
for
is
the prevention of cruelty.
And it's a front for satanic witches to go after and kill kids.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So when they, close the room to their meeting, and they all take off their costumes, they all look like beautiful rich ladies, and then they get in there and they take off their costumes and they're all bald.
And they've got 1 or 2 fingers and toes.
I don't like their toe. It's just one toe that fits in the high heel. It's gross. That grossed me out.
Also, I'm not sure about the mechanics of having 1 toe.
No.
I don't really. I mean, I'm pretty sure that your body is made where you need all of them to hold you up.
Yeah.
So if you just have 1 toe,
it's
I don't think...
so they can walk in high heels. Like all
the
fashion industry.
But you still need the muscles in the other digits to balance your body. It's called ergonomics. Hello?
I didn't make witch feet. They're succubus. Right?
Who is?
The witches.
They're succubi. How?
Yeah.
How? I don't remember that. How?
They just enchant guys to get stuff and...
Well, a succubus is not just an enchantress. A succubus is a demon thing that's perched on a dude trying to get some to produce something.
They said something about it because I wrote it down.
Okay.
They are anti-natalist.
Exactly. That's key.
They return to homes and open candy stores to get rid of children.
Mm-hmm. It's like a Queen Elizabeth. It's like a Hillary Queen Elizabeth type thing.
The meeting was all about how to open a candy shop in your local town so you can get access to kids.
So they were setting up fronts for their occult operation.
Yeah.
And she mysteriously had a giant sum of money out of nowhere, right? She's a big chest full of millions of dollars.
Anne Hathaway has her witch money. Yeah.
Well, but she's exceedingly wealthy because she's funding everybody being able to buy a candy shop.
Right.
And the candy is poison.
It's mouse maker poison.
Yeah, but the candy that kids eat is poison.
Yeah, and
in
it
the
turns
real
them
world.
into mice.
Correct. No, I'm saying the real world.
Oh, yeah. And
so you're a mouse being experimented on by eating the candy in the real world.
They always use chocolate.
Candy.
And wasn't Hershey's just in a lawsuit about being gross?
Probably.
And poisonous?
Wouldn't be surprised.
So
I don't remember.
Don't eat
cheap fake.
Food.
Yeah,
like the big megacorps of, obviously, if you can get it at 7-Eleven, don't eat that.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
She lives in room 666. Mice are for experiments. Every witch in the world. She tracks their
She's
flight
the
logs.
head witch, right?
Yeah.
So the grand queen of witches. Which I think there could be such a thing. There might be some of the conspiracy world has theorized that there is a grand high witch. Mm-hmm. I think it's very possible because if you look at, for example, Queen of England, Winston Churchill, Archbishop of Canterbury, they were all initiated into being druids. Mm-hmm. So that suggests that there is probably a grand high witch or grand high druid. Mm-hmm. But it might have even been the queen.
I've seen the footage of her in the forest getting
that's real.
Initiated in there.
So, but again, that's theory. But maybe that's what Roald Dahl, being British intelligence, is referring to. All right, go ahead. Can we move on? We gotta
okay, so the end of the movie, he has to live life as a mouse. So the witch turned him into a mouse. There was no way to turn him back.
Yeah, this was an odd one because the other one he gets turned back.
But he gets to have the same lifespan as his grandma who's taking care of him. So it works out.
That's weird.
And he lives his mouse years and she lives her grandma years fighting witches. Remember that was
they set up a task force to educate kids against witches.
It's a weird
it was really
trans
weird.
mouse message. I don't know.
All right.
Witches.
So next up is the one that I think is the weirdest, the peanut butter solution. I actually heard about this because the dude from Black Keys was on Joe Rogan like 4 or 5 years ago saying that the weirdest movie that he'd seen was Peanut Butter Solution. So I never forgot that. I wrote it down. Jamie and I have been talking about doing this podcast for many years. We finally got around to it, so I'm glad we did it. But what did you think of? I mean, this fits the archetype of greasy old magical old man who whisks the children away to sudden doom, basically, because he imprisons them. This is crazy.
Yeah, this is like has a lot of WTF moments in it. Like, this is for kids. What?
And it's a Canadian-made movie, so that's part of the weirdness. Is the Canadians are kind of weird.
This is the hijinks that they're up to when mom is away in Australia. They don't really say a lot about the mom other than she's gone.
The dad is kind of like just a
he's an
out to
eccentric
lunch
artist.
He's an eccentric out to lunch dude who just kind of lets the kids do whatever. Mm-hmm. And the kids get embroiled in being kidnapped and imprisoned in a crazy French man's basement. This is nuts.
But it also has the dimensions that we were talking about in Interstellar and what was that one?
Wrinkle in Time.
Wrinkle in Time.
Right. So essentially, what happens is an art teacher, an eccentric art teacher at the kids' school, we find out later, is stealing the kids and putting them in his factory to produce artist brushes.
Yes.
From the head of this child whose hair never stops growing and grows at a crazy rate. So basically, the dude's hair is like my level within an hour, right? So his hair's going nuts. So the crazy old artist monetizes this shit. He's like, let's monetize that. Put that dude on a factory line and give me some of them sweet locks put into a paintbrush.
Who thinks of this stuff?
This has to be a creepy old man on some kind of drugs.
Yes.
I mean, this movie is one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen.
It's called Peanut Butter Solution.
Peanut Butter Solution. You see it right there, 1985. It's a Canadian kids movie. And the other weird part is that the way that the kid gets the recipe to get his hair back, because something happens and he gets his hair shaved off and he gets embarrassed.
They go to the scary abandoned house and he gets a fright.
And his hair falls out.
Yeah.
And then he talks to ghosts, the spirits of ghosts.
Yes.
Who tell him a magical recipe.
Harem scarum.
Using peanut butter to get his hair back. And it messes up. And he basically, he's got locks nonstop.
The ghosts of homeless people are his spirit guides.
Yep.
And they give him the recipe. I wrote it down. Would you like to hear it?
Mm-hmm.
1 really ripe banana, 5...
So everybody get a pen.
Banana, 5 flies, rotten egg, licorice leaves, kitty litter, crackers, soil, peanut butter.
Yep.
And then his little friend rubs it on his little legs. In between his little legs.
Yes.
And his hair grows out of his pants.
Comedic reference to privy part hair growing nonstop.
It's really weird.
Anyway, I don't know what the meaning of this movie is. Look, I don't know what this movie means, but it is some kind of weird mind control thing. I can tell you that. I don't know what the heck is going on or what it means. Because there's a painting that they get the old guy to paint. The paintings are doorways.
They're magic because they're made of his hair.
They're magical doorways that kids can travel through.
Because they're made of his hair that grows too long.
I mean,
he got from a recipe from Homeless Ghost.
Yes. I don't know what this is, but it is some kind of thing that this is what John C. Lilly plays you to mind control you. Right? When the MK doctors have you pinned down in their mind, this is what you're watching.
Like, I don't know what I'm looking at, but I don't like it.
Yeah. There he is with his hair beginning to grow. Here he is when it grows. Look.
Why? Oh, and the town doctor, the town art dealer, and the town teacher are all brothers for some reason. Like Italian guys. Remember, because the Italian art teacher that kidnapped them was in it.
He's French.
No, he was Italian.
Oh, he's Italian.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Yes, that's right. So the people running this are all part of the same family, which is weird.
Yeah. And then...
And they point out that the brother who's kidnapping the kids is insane. Shocker.
Yes. And so the fright that made the boy lose his hair in the beginning turned out to be the homeless couple living in the abandoned house that died there.
And became the ghost spirit guides to give him the magic recipe. So...
Yes. This is like what... Why were you talking about what Alex Jones saw on Skid Row?
Because when... So Alex's grossest story is his story about going to LA a few years ago and the Skid Row SEX worker people that had flies all over them that were lurching towards Alex. Oh. And it said it made him want to throw up.
That's, yeah.
So
he turned all his hair gray.
When the boy goes into the the house where the homeless people are, it's like the Alex story, right? Because they're terrifying the kid.
Yeah.
I was like, this is like Alex's story about being in Skid Row. I forgot that. Anyway, I actually think you should watch this movie because it's so crazy. I mean, it's like I put it up there in our list of most entertaining of the worst movies, right? Like, it's up there for me. I wouldn't rewatch it, but you need to see it once.
If you're into like Mystery Science Theater level.
I mean, it's definitely a Mystery Science Theater Riff Tracks level movie in the sense of this. It's not really bad quality. It's like a TV movie, basically. So it's not terrible quality. It's just the insane story and plot is just, it's there's nothing like it. So it's kind of become a cult classic with, famous rock stars are talking about this on Joe Rogan. So.
Really?
Did you not hear the story? You don't listen to what I say when we're doing this?
That's our shtick.
It's not. it's just that you don't listen to what I say. When I was talking about the Black Keys guy on Joe Rogan, talked about this movie. This is where I heard of it.
Okay.
And he said it was the weirdest movie he saw.
Okay. It's up there. It's definitely up there.
All right. So last one tonight is another movie that I grew up with that Jamie had never seen. And it is actually a Spielberg production. You can kind of tell that it is that when you actually watch the movie. And that is the 1985, 85? Or I forgot to put the year. Young Sherlock Holmes. I actually think this is still a pretty good 80s movie. I enjoyed it. What'd you think?
It's
initial overall assessment. You know what? As we watched this, we started thinking, hey, she pulled from this.
Yeah. A lot of the scenes in this movie look like Harry Potter.
Yes.
And
there's a lot of very Potter-esque things going on. So they're at, Oxford or Cambridge or something, right?
Yeah, they're at
and it's when,
British boarding school.
And Watson and Holmes are young, so they supposedly meet at college is the story here.
Yeah.
And they said they wanted this. The original thought was that this would be a recurring series that, probably Spielberg would try to make his next big thing, like, Indiana Jones, but it didn't go over as well as they thought. So it never got a sequel. But it's not a bad movie. Go ahead.
I forgot the beginning.
So the beginning is the wealthy guy tripping out because his chicken comes to life that he's about to eat and it attacks him. See? Right here. This guy.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And what we find out is that at
Look at him.
Oxford or Cambridge or whatever place that they're kind of symbolized to be at, this, what?
Him.
Yeah. The school. There's a cult, essentially, that is running the university at the highest level, and they're taking out people in the city, prominent, important people in London. And they're killing them in a very bizarre way, which is that they're drugging them such that the people end up killing themselves. So we later find out that, Sherlock figures out what drug they're using to basically drive people crazy. But they have an actual satanic cult, this is the crazy part, where they're sacrificing young virgins.
Yeah, this is very much like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, exactly. Very Indiana Jonesy, correct.
Especially at the end where they find the was this before Temple of Doom? Because the sacrifice...
It's 1985. Temple of Doom is, I think, 84. So this is
okay.
a year after, probably. I'm going from memory. But.
So they find this giant pyramid that's underground. That's a cult, like a secret society. Is it Masonic or?
It's quasi-Masonic, right?
Yeah.
Which is interesting because, it's almost making a sort of a Masonic satanic sect look bad, which is kind of not what you expect Hollywood to do. But maybe in the 80s they did. Here you can see their big, ceremonial room or whatever. It's very...
Goat's head.
Well, it's very
serpent.
Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
So that they've got a goat's head and they've got... I looked up the Egyptian deity. That's him right here.
Ram?
No. Well, this whole section here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So basically, the Egyptian god of the dead is who they worship. Rametep in the story. There's an underground pyramid that they have set up in London where they offer these sacrifices. The actual goat head deity is Mendes. So when you hear the term goat of Mendes, the Egyptians worshipped Mendes, one of the goat head gods of death, I think.
We just talked about that on my
he's
live
also
stream.
called Khnum, the divine potter. So actually he's not a god of death. He's the divine builder and potter.
So that's a Mason?
No, it's totally Masonic. I'm saying that Khnum is the goat god, is the builder of the pyramid. So that's why he's in the pyramid here. Right. Go ahead. Anything else?
What was this? Oh, I was going to say
there's a death and rebirth ritual that occurs.
This is also a lot like Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes. Because the plots of those are satanic cults also.
Well, I think a couple of the I've read a bunch of the Sherlock Holmes stories, and I think a couple of them have cults. Maybe. I'm going from memory. But Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was into mesmerism and occultism. So the guy who wrote Sherlock Holmes was a mesmerist and was maybe even connected to Blavatsky and the Fabian Socialists. He was in those circles. But one thing that happens is that there is a catabasis where when the main characters, by the way, end up drugged as well. So Sherlock, Watson, and the girl, the love interest, forget her name, but they all end up...
Elizabeth?
Yeah, they all end up dosed with the hallucinogen. And in every case, the people who died ended up not being able to face their inner trauma because whatever drug they're using forces you to face your inner demons and your past and your trauma. That's why the other people die. But we know that because Sherlock, in his vision, he sees... the problems that he had with his dad. So he had a tough relationship with his father. He has to overcome that. I forget. Watson's temptation is like to eat too much because he's chunky. I don't remember what Elizabeth's temptation is, but she basically is scared of dying, so she falls into a grave and has to be saved and goes through a catabasis resurrection ritual. So there's a lot of initiation that occurs so even the main characters undergo the initiation.
And they're doing the old virgin sacrifice, right?
Which is interesting because typically most people don't think of Egypt as connected with human sacrifice, but Egypt did do human sacrifice. A lot of people don't know that.
I should dust off that one book I have. There's a whole Egyptian part in that. Someone said ancient Egyptians mastered the art of goo babies.
Maybe they did. That's what's in those. People talk about, oh, ancient Egypt had batteries, right?
Yeah.
Those pots. They're not batteries. They're just ancient pickle punks.
The goo baby is an alchemical holy grail.
We're getting deep tonight, y'all. All right. Is that it? That's all of our weird movies? No more notes?
No, that's it.
Guys, remember to subscribe to Jamie as well. I'll link her podcast, Jamie Hanshaw. Her channel is over on here on YouTube as well. You can support our work by going to the shop in Jay's Analysis, which is also linked in the show description. You can get copies of the Red Book. You can get signed copies of my 2 Hollywood books. If you like tonight's analysis, you would definitely want my 2 Hollywood books. I've also got my meta-narratives book. And you've got Hollywood Mind Control. Jamie's got books over there as well. Signed copies in the shop at Jay's Analysis. And remember, you can send a super chat at any time. It doesn't have to be right now. If you send it tonight or